First with breaking news. First with new information. Plus, your first alert forecast. 19 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Well, we begin with breaking news. Cleveland School CEO announcing today that it will now be 410 employees, including teachers, who will be laid off. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Brian Duffy.
And I'm Nicole Versansky. 410. The district needs to come up with more than $150 million over the next 3 years to be able to balance its budget. Dan DeRose is here now to break down the numbers. Dan, this is a whole lot bigger number than we first heard.
Yeah, it is. And this is a mix of all kinds of staff. This isn't just teachers. It's not just principals and vice principals. It's all the way down the board. Let's remember, they are moving forward with that plan to where they're closing 29 schools. The CEO of Cleveland Metropolitan School District is pointing out, if you're closing that many schools, you're going to have to start to lay off some employees. So let's talk about it. First of all, he says this is the major problem. In the last 20 years, they have lost 50% of their student population. According to the CEO, every district is having this problem around the state. It is due to low birth rates. It's, according to him, not because people are sending their kids to private schools or charter schools. It is just because of a declining birth rate in metropolitan areas. So in the past 20 years, they've lost 50% of their students, but they've only cut staff by 31%. He is saying it is time that this has to catch up. 410 permanent jobs, full-time jobs, 86 administrators, that's principals, vice principals, or assistant principals, and 146 teachers. This will be $50 million in savings each year over the next 3 years. Now, he held a Zoom call. You're not going to see him on camera, but he is trying to say this is what is necessary to make sure that they are physically compliant as the state requires.
The future is bright in terms of what we'll be able to provide for our scholars. Definitely a grim moment right now, because when we're talking about people and when we're talking about the impacts on people, that's not a bright conversation. That's not a happy conversation. That's not a conversation that people like. It's not one that I like.
According to the moves being made by the district, this will ensure that kids can get things like algebra. There were many schools in the district that weren't even teaching algebra, but by consolidating, they'll have better programs, chances at advanced placement, vocational training. It is a part of a massive, massive reconstruction plan for the entire district.
A man accused of kidnapping a 3-year-old girl has been found not competent to stand trial. Police say Randy Curley abducted the child from her Medina County home last October while her grandmother was babysitting her. He will now enter treatment at Heartland Behavioral Health Care to determine if his competency can be restored.
Now your 19 First Alert forecast. Certified most accurate since 2004.
Warm right now, just another beautiful day out there, similar to yesterday. Temperatures well into the 70s. We are dry this afternoon after a bit of morning rain. You see a few pop-up showers in Pennsylvania and a couple cells trying to form down south of Richland County. Those have died out. I am watching, though, this complex of storms that's currently moving into northwestern Indiana. Following the same trajectory, we can get some showers and storms in here after dark this evening, 9, 10 o'clock. Some rumbles and some showers expected. But for the rest of these daylight hours, we're looking good with the sunshine and temperatures very warm in the 70s. We'll stay in the 60s overnight with that continued breeze. You see some of the clouds out there in Parma right now. The next several days unseasonably warm. I am tracking numerous rain chances. A little tricky forecast, so a lot of what happens locally depends on what happens to our north and west, and we get some of the leftovers. And there's a chill down coming for this time next week. We're going to dive into your First Alert 7-day forecast coming up here in a little bit.
Well, after weekend peace talks evidently went nowhere between the U.S. and Iran, the U.S. military set up a blockade on Iranian ports. Now, President Donald Trump has issued a warning the U.S. will sink any Iranian fast attack ships that come near that blockade. Lee Waldman now with our story.
After failing to reach a deal for peace, President Donald Trump has ordered the U.S. Navy to begin blockading Iranian port traffic.
It would be a considerable operation requiring a lot of surveillance as well as, of course, the physical presence of several destroyers and probably an aircraft carrier, maybe two.
In a post on Truth Social, President Donald Trump touted the defeat of the Iranian Navy, but warned that any fast attack ships that come close to the blockade would be immediately eliminated.
Unfortunately, the mentality of the leadership in Iran is hardening.
Iran's acting defense minister said the country is preparing for any scenario, and any aggression would result in a harsh and decisive response, according to remarks broadcast on Iran's state-run television.
Iran has said this blockade violates the ceasefire. But it's one thing to say that. It's another thing to start shooting.
Iran has been allowing some tankers through in recent days, while reportedly charging a hefty toll of up to $2 million. In the U.S., stock markets fell and oil prices topped $100 a barrel on Sunday as the blockade and failed peace talks are set to further disrupt the global economy. A gallon of gas in the U.S. cost $4.12 on average Sunday, up 38% from the start of the war, despite declining slightly over the weekend. I'm Lee Waldman reporting.
Taking a look at what's happening here at the pump, average gasoline prices in Cleveland have risen about 6 cents a gallon in the past week. That is according to GasBuddy's survey of 831 stations in Cleveland. So the average in Ohio is $3.86 a gallon. Prices in Cleveland are 44 cents per gallon higher than a month ago. The national average price of gas is right now averaging, according to AAA, $4.13. A 19 traffic alert impacting drivers who take 77 to get out of downtown. The East 14th entrance ramp to 77 South officially closes today. It will stay closed until 2028. There will also be some lane closures on 77 in both directions between East 14th and Woodland. That's through the summer. If we see any major delays from this, we'll send you a push alert on the 19 News app.
Parking lot, street partying, and drinking has become one big problem in a local city.
And the temperatures are getting nicer for people to be outside. Serious security measures are being put into place now to try and keep crime at a minimum, with it the potential for tragedy. Catherine Huntley has the story.
Every single person I've spoken to today who either lives or works here in Akron's Highland Square says that unregulated open container drinking and partying has become a major issue. Now the city hopes that things like these barricades and an extra police presence will help adjust the problem. New security measures coming to Highland Square to hopefully eliminate partying in parking lots and cars.
Often it's not people who are directly patronizing these businesses, but who are coming out just kind of to see and be seen. And, and then again, if someone's drinking in their car, they've got a weapon, bad stuff just happens.
Mayor Shamus Malik hopes measures like blocking off parking spots in front of the bars and increasing security guard and Akron police presence will make it a safer atmosphere for everyone.
Hey, who's not doing something?
Last year, tragedy hit Highland Square after an innocent man was caught in the crossfire of people shooting at each other and died.
This is an issue that we've seen directly. We're not just trying to be reactive. We're trying to put in place long-term solutions. So this is just one thing. I know it's visible. I know it's ugly, but we're going to keep working on it.
A tattooer at Blacktooth Tattoo in Highland Square says he's seen firsthand people partying in the street and parking lots, drinking and being disrespectful. He's in favor of these changes.
I hope it makes, people feel a little bit safer to come out and not have to worry about, walking by something or somebody get into a fight.
However, some who live and work in the area worry they're eliminating too many parking spots. Some worry it'll push the party elsewhere.
I don't know that it's necessarily a positive thing. I think ultimately it's just going to relocate it to other areas. That'll probably also be a problem.
The barricades will be there through at least the fall. In Akron, Catherine Huntley, 19 News.
Let's break down your next big things over the next few days here. Tomorrow and Wednesday, occasional storms. I'd say we're dry really through much of the day tomorrow, maybe a spot shower or storm. Wednesday afternoon activity. Thursday, also some showers and storms developing later in the day. And then Friday, those will linger into the morning. Will be a little bit cooler, but lots of sunshine for your Friday afternoon. Temperatures will be near 70 degrees. And then for the weekend, looking a bit more unsettled as that final front will move through. Here's our high temperature trend. Notice normal is 59. We are still well above normal for the next several days. We're well into the 70s here as we head through your Saturday. But you know what's coming, right? There's the dip in temperatures, 50 on Sunday, potentially only the 40s for the start of next week. So going to get a lot cooler out there, and that does come with some active weather. We're going to see that front push through between Saturday and Sunday. So right now, Saturday looks to be potentially our dampest day with showers and storms very common throughout the whole day. Of course, we'll fine-tune the forecast, time things out as we get closer. Sunday, scattered showers, and then Monday is trending drier for us as well. But it's all about really those rain chances the next few days and how some of these storms behave to our north and west as we're on this really summer-like pattern, this ring of fire that we would expect more in the summertime. I'll talk more about the timing of this with the First Alert Future View coming up in just a bit.
All right, Andy, thank you. And we're excited to add the Landline to our lineup of podcasts. It debuts tonight with our Aria Janelle. She's going to dive into different conversations with some of Cleveland's most interesting people. It sounds fun. Uncovering the human stories behind the titles and defining moments. The Landline streams every Monday at 8 p.m. on the free 19 News Plus app, available on streaming devices and smart TVs. Well, Pope Leo is visiting Africa today and pushing back in a not so subtle way against President Trump's public attack against him over the weekend.
Jared Hill has more on the rare clash between the White House and the Vatican.
President Trump is defending this now deleted post on social media, an AI image appearing to show him as Jesus, criticized online by many, including prominent religious conservatives.
I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor, and had to do with Red Cross as a Red Cross worker there, which we support.
This comes one day after President Trump slammed Pope Leo's stance against the war in Iran and U.S. immigration policy. In one post, he called the head of the Catholic Church terrible for foreign policy and suggesting he was only elected because the Vatican thought it would be the best way to deal with Trump in office. The American-born pontiff on a 10-day trip to Africa responded.
I don't want to get into a debate with him.
Saying he has no fear of the Trump administration and will keep promoting peace.
Too many people are suffering in the world today. Too many innocent people are being killed.
At the White House Monday, the president was asked if he would apologize to the Pope.
No, I don't, because Pope Leo said things that are wrong. He was very much against what I'm doing with regard to Iran, and you cannot have a nuclear Iran. We have the lowest crime numbers we've had in a long time, despite the fact that many criminals were allowed into our country, but we've gotten a lot of them out.
Pope Leo called the name of the president's social media platform Truth Social ironic and said Trump, who won over a majority of Catholics in the 2024 election, doesn't understand the message of the gospel. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
The Pope has sharply criticized the treatment of migrants under President Trump, labeling it as, quote, inhumane. And he has been a staunch critic of the Iran war, calling President Trump's recent threat to destroy Iranian civilization unacceptable. Pope Leo has urged the president to find an off-ramp to end the conflict.
Well, more than 1,000 people signed a letter opposing the merger of Paramount and Warner Brothers. All of them work in the film and TV industry, writers, actors, directors, names you may know like Noah Wiley from The Pit and Lin-Manuel Miranda and Jane Fonda, just to name a few. They say it would harm, big time, the entertainment industry. The letter says, in part, quote, "We are deeply concerned by indications of support for this merger that prioritize the interests of a small group of powerful stakeholders over the broader public good. The integrity, independence, and diversity of our industry would be grievously compromised," end quote. The merger between Paramount and Warner Brothers has not yet been approved.
Caught on camera in Detroit, a dog that got stuck needed to be rescued from a chimney. This guy, poor thing, peeking out of the top of the chimney of this crumbling home. Firefighters used their ladder to get to him. How did he get up there?
That's my question.
Right? They climbed onto the roof, pulling it to safety. Other than being underweight, the dog is in good health. Firefighters named it Stack. And it will be available soon to adopt. Well, this next story sounds like a joke, but it is real. A beaver walked into a grocery store in Canada, caught on camera right there, if you don't believe me. Canadian police shared this video of it walking through the entrance. Is this a Buc-ee's?
No. It
If this was a Buc-ee's, this would be such a good story, right? It quickly tries to get out, but it cannot find its way. So police are called as to kind of coax him out of the store without harm. Maybe he thought.
Now your 19 First Alert forecast. Certified most accurate since 2004.
If you're hungry, that's the place to go.
It's open. The door opens right for you. All right, now to your First Alert on warmer temperatures. Really warm out there today, but it is breezy, pretty breezy.
Yeah, we've seen the wind, and we're going to see some rain chances, kind of creeping in from time to time, but still plenty of dry time to enjoy that warmth. That's the case again tomorrow as we look at our Tuesday planner at 77 degrees in the afternoon, so pretty much the same as we've been the past couple of days here. A mix of sun and clouds. That breeze, though, not going anywhere. Southwest wind 10 to 20 miles per hour. Could be a spot shower or storm tomorrow. I'm not looking at anything significant and certainly not a washout. So a warm start to the day in the 60s, and then there's those 70s for the afternoon. And I'd say we get more in the way of sunshine, especially later in the day. So let's time things out on First Alert Future View in this rather complex pattern. We're dry over these next few hours, but notice once we get to 9, 10 o'clock, we do have some showers and even a few storms that can move in here from the west. There's some of that activity ongoing across northwestern Indiana right now. And then even overnight could be a stray shower or storm real close to the lake shore. Now we start the day tomorrow, not a lot going on. There may end up being a dying complex of storms that sort of comes our way from the north and west, so that'll bring clouds, perhaps a couple light showers. Dry tomorrow afternoon, so a nice finish to the day. And then once we get to Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, need to watch some activity over the lake that could sink a little bit further south. Otherwise, much of Wednesday not looking bad until later in the afternoon and evening, and then there's some showers and storms moving in. Same idea on Thursday. A few showers will move in during the afternoon as well. So yes, we have these rain chances, but there's a lot of dry time as well. Very warm the next few days, well in the 70s. Morning showers Friday, then sunshine for the afternoon, a bit cooler. Saturday looks to be the most unsettled day before we give way to a much more significant chill down for the start of next week.
Now your top four at 4. Someone lost control of their car and smashed right into this building. They lost control. It burst into flames. This happened at the Midland Hardware on West 117th Street. The business is next door to the Taco Bell on the Lakewood border. When firefighters arrived, the driver was trapped inside and needed to be rescued. The driver's condition has not been released.
A judge says a recent psychological report found a Central Ohio woman competent to stand trial for the death of her 5-year-old foster child. Prosecutors say in 2024, Pammy May's husband called police telling them his wife said she just killed their foster child, Darnell Taylor. May left. That Amber Alert was issued, and you might remember this story. May was found here in Brooklyn, walking around a business on Tiedemann. May told detectives Darnell's body was in a sewage drain in Franklin County, down by Columbus. May's attorney says she plans to plead not guilty by reason of insanity.
An explosion in Geauga County, a barn blown to pieces, blown to smithereens. Several fire departments responded to the flames. This started around noon on Butternut Road in Burton Township. The barn was completely destroyed, but thankfully no injuries.
A large group is expected at RTA's special meeting tonight. The group Clevelanders for Public Transit is marching from Public Square to RTA headquarters at 5:30. They're pushing city leaders to give the RTA more funding. There are 2 more public hearings this week, Wednesday and Thursday. We have information on submitting a public comment online through April 27th on cleveland19.com. New research finds online gambling is on the rise among teens.
Yeah, we really shouldn't not expect this, right? All these phones, researchers found the majority are being lured in through gambling ads on YouTube and social media platforms. There's a survey from Common Sense Media. It shows about 36% of boys between the ages of, listen to this, 11 to 17 have gambled in the past year. That number is even higher when looking at just older teens. It rises to 49% among 17-year-old boys.
Kids might be hiding their apps from you. They could be deleting their apps. They're hiding their screens. Key things to look for is that on the actual live game days, they get very irritable. They get very anxious. They suddenly become unavailable to you. You will be noticing that they're asking for more money, advances on their allowances. They might be selling things of their own that are very important to them, or they're coming home with a lot of cash.
Well, this is really frightening. Experts say other gambling warning signs in children include changes in sleep and hygiene grades or the use of addictive substances.
Breaking at this hour, a barn roof collapses with people inside. This is in Wisconsin. 3 people were trapped beneath that debris. A total of 7 patients were taken to area hospitals with injuries ranging from minor to serious. The roof appeared to be under construction when it gave way. The cause of the collapse, though, is still under investigation.
Also breaking, the FBI raided the Texas home of a 20-year-old suspect accused of throwing a Molotov cocktail at OpenAI CEO Sam Altman's house in San Francisco. An exterior gate actually caught on fire. The company issued a statement indicating the suspect also made a threat to burn down the company's headquarters. Police arrested Daniel Marino Gama, saying he traveled to San Francisco to carry out that attack. No one was hurt. We continue our Stadium Showdown coverage. Brook Park City Council will hold a special meeting, as they're calling it, tomorrow night. That would be a major step forward in the development of the Browns' new indoor stadium.
So at the center of it all, this is a pre-development agreement that lays out exactly how the city and the Browns Development Group plan to work together. First at 4, Brittany Weir has these details.
The land is being prepared, the renderings are drawn up, and now Brook Park is on the verge of making it official. Tomorrow night, City Council votes on a pre-development agreement between the city and the Browns Development Group. A deal that would set the legal and financial groundbreaking for a new dome stadium with a capacity of up to 70,000 seats. The agreement calls for Brook Park to issue sales tax exemptions on construction materials used to build the stadium. In exchange, the city would receive millions of dollars to cover startup costs.
A sales tax exemption is going to be put in place for all the material needed in and around the stadium. And in lieu of that, the city of Brook Park would be receiving $24.8 million for their startup costs.
Under the payment schedule, the Browns Development Group, Primacy Development LLC, would make an upfront payment of $1.8 million, followed by monthly installments that grow over time.
From there, we will see payments of $250,000 for 8 months straight. And then from there, we're going to see that be bumped up to monthly payments of $500,000 a month. And then the last 12 months, which will end June of 2029, we'll see monthly payments of $750,000 a month.
Under this deal, the Browns Development Group would pay Brook Park nearly $25 million, money the city says it will use to cover costs tied directly to the stadium project. That money won't just sit in a fund. Mayor Orcutt says Brook Park is already preparing hiring new staff to handle this massive workload.
We have a projection of 18,000 total inspections that will be needed to build that stadium.
If council approves the agreement Tuesday night, the city would be one step closer to creating a new community authority to eventually own the stadium site. A key step under Ohio law to unlock additional public financing. In Brook Park, Brittany Weir, 19 News.
All right, and this is exactly what we do every week in Stadium Showdown. We break down everything you need to know that's going on in Brook Park as the Browns work to get this indoor stadium built. They will. It's going to take a while, though. Watch on 19 News Plus, Apple TV, Fire TV, Roku, and YouTube. New episodes each Friday at 6:30, but you can watch the prior shows right now.